You are live. There was an update on TikTok. I got to agree to the new policies where they can stalk me, and I can't say anything about it.
What's up, Trevor?
What's up, everybody? I have to see if Tony gets back on here. Tony,
David joined. Must be you.
Yeah, I just joined. Sending all these likes. Thank you, sir. Really appreciate it. Man, already blowing it up. Starting off on a strong suit. 144 likes over on the TikTok already. Love to see it. What's up,
That's
YouTube?
before the
What's up,
intro.
Facebook? Say what?
I said that's before the intro.
We're gonna get to 1,000 before we ever hit the intro. Goodness gracious.
We're gonna make that a challenge.
We should make a challenge. We shouldn't. We're not gonna start the episode until y'all get us to 1,000 likes. Y'all gotta get us to 1,000 likes. There's 15 of you. I can see you. Well, actually 14 and probably 13 because you probably count this one. How's it going, man? You're good. How's it going, board guy? Board guy TikTok. All right, bet. We'll make it 1,000 likes, and then we'll hit the intro. We'll keep going. Y'all, if y'all watching, we got 2 people already on YouTube and Facebook too. We're 500, 600. Oh, wow, this is happening quick. So get your finger ready. You're going to hit that intro pretty quick, Andy. 700 already. Right. Good to hear, board guy. 800, 890, 900. Oh, yeah, here we go. Ooh. There it is. All right, let's roll the intro. Let's get into this. Another Fascar pit stop coming your way.
God bless America, and gentlemen, start your engine!
Still down there. Still down there.
Still outside corner, you're number one.
Was out. Hell was out. Manager just about out-wrecked him. And then she busted her ass.
Hello.
What's up, everybody? If you didn't know, that intro is all taken by us. We are your only NASCAR news that also goes to the track and takes some great content. So, thank all y'all.
Lagging a little bit. Yeah, it's probably my shitty Starlink internet. So I apologize about that.
Poor Elon Musk.
Yeah.
Start your engines. Yeah. Let's see. What was this? What up, guys? What do you think about the Truex dominant performance? We were definitely going to talk about that. I'm already wearing my Truex shirt, so it's going to happen.
I was going to wear mine, but I didn't want to blend in with the fat guy.
Excuses. But all right, so we had some pretty good racing. I think. Ooh, excuse me. Yet another week of rain. I think NASCAR is just they're turning into boat races.
They say if you need rain, invite NASCAR to town.
Man, it's been serious. I think last 3 races have been rain impacted. I think we got next week is already looking like 50% chances of storms on the day.
They said too that this was the second race in a row. Well, no, Atlanta. Atlanta was the second race in a row that was shortened because of rain, and I think that was the first time that had ever happened in NASCAR.
I won't say you're right. It was either that or like something like I can't remember how many. It'd be a lot of years, but yeah, I think you're right. I think it's the first time that's happened back to back, and then like I don't know what they're gonna do. They have to move up these start times a whole 24 hours in advance. Oof, yeah, it's lagging. Whole 24 hours in advance just to be able to get. I'm trying to see this thing come up because of the TV network deal. So NASCAR's kind of caught in a rock and a hard place.
Yeah. So it's obviously all around TV.
What's up, Tony?
It's all around TV. What's up, Tony? Chicago starting because of daylight, not because of rain. Yeah, I think it was just because like the race itself was shortened. I don't think it was in particulars as far as like what caused the shortening of the race, but they said it was. Yeah. It's the second race. Atlanta was the second race in a row that was shortened, and because of that, that set like a new record or whatever. Not that
Yeah, it's crazy, but I'll tell you what, Martin did not care. He wanted to win. Apparently, Mondays is his thing. I know I saw a comment over here on the right about from TikTok about how Mondays are good luck for Martin, and he dominated. The dude straight
Yeah.
out just dominated. Now, we'll talk more about the race itself, but I do have to say I did pick him to win last week. So, Martin, if you're out there, signed hat, signed anything, it's fine, it's cool. You know, you just send it my way. I'm your good luck charm. I was wearing your shirt twice. Just saying. Just saying. But also, I am kicking butt in our fantasy. We have a NASCAR fantasy for a group chat that we're in, and then a friendship group. And I think everyone's pretty much gave up and quit, except for me and Andy now.
I actually forgot to make my picks for this last weekend too. So that's probably why I didn't even look at it. I didn't even have a chance, and we'll get into this. I didn't even have a chance to watch the race live
Yep.
yesterday. I had to watch it. I had to record it and watch it last night after I got home from work. So I didn't even bother to make picks, and I don't know. I wasn't really feeling it this weekend, regardless.
Yeah, this weekend it's kind of a funk. I mean, obviously we knew kind of ahead of time that we were going to have some weather delays and weather issues. Okay. All right, all right. Okay, I do have to say Tony's in the Xfinity or in the chat over here on the other side, not the YouTubes or the Facebooks, but he did call the Xfinity race. He did call the winner there, so I'll give him his moment. Everyone give him a round of applause in chat, please.
I thought for a second too that we were going to have 20s sweep the weekend.
Yeah.
You there?
Yeah, I'm there. I looked over and saw a spike of just hold. Truex
Yeah,
won
you're
on
lagging
Monday.
really bad there, buddy.
Yeah, it is what it is. It's gonna be what it is.
Anyways, so I thought for a second we were going to have 20s sweep the weekend, but Christopher Bell kind of had some issues.
Yeah, C Bell is obviously known for this track. He's actually had really good luck here, but not this year. It did not work out in his favor. Luckily, Martin Truex capitalized on it. Harvick was obviously up there. I mean, at one point, it looked like Brad could have pulled away and gotten himself a dirty win real quick.
Yeah, so we'll talk about Brad as well. Um, I'm really impressed and really happy to see Brad running as well as he is and RFK as a whole. So if you haven't been putting Brad in your fantasy, you've been sleeping on him. If you haven't been putting him in your fantasy, it may be a good thing though, because start putting him in now because you haven't used him yet. He's been putting some numbers up, so he can help you.
Yeah, his average finishes have definitely been improving as this year has gone on. Obviously, Ford Camp is not having a great time. I mean, Areola was out there again. Top 3 whenever
He
he
was
had his issue.
leading. He was
He was
leading.
leading.
He led the
Yeah.
race on that restart.
So I missed that entire section of the race. I came back afterwards, and all I had was a little thing that said, old Areola done hit the wall or something happened, and
Yeah.
he was out of the race already by the time I joined back in.
Yeah, that was I couldn't believe that had happened. And then it handed the lead over to Larson, which I couldn't even get around the fact that Larson was even performing at New Hampshire. Typically Hendrick cars do not run good at New Hampshire. So if I had made fantasy picks, I wasn't going to pick any Hendrick car.
I picked Byron because Byron's been on a kind of a tear, and
That didn't work for you.
Byron, I mean, it worked out okay. I still got points. So, I mean, I was
You got
so far
stage
ahead.
points in the first stage, but you didn't get any points in the second stage or even towards the end. I think you finished like 27th or something.
I don't know what he finished. He still got me points. I had him in one, then I had Bubba in the other. So it was like, not the greatest, but hey, I still had so many points from everything else. It worked out for me.
Well, we got a little ahead of ourselves talking about the Cup race already. Let's talk about the Xfinity race first. So John Hunter Nemechek did win the race, which Tony has made it clear that he had called John Hunter winning that race. Good for you. Good for you. But Toyotas seemed like they were going to be the force to beat this weekend, and sure enough, they were.
Yep.
I missed the first and second stage of the Xfinity race Saturday, so I went back and watched the extended highlights today at lunch, and it seemed like there was some pretty decent racing going on there. I was surprised to see. I was actually surprised to see Brandon Jones up front for a change, and of course, we'll get to the fact that he pretty much Brandon Jones the rest of the season in one race.
The Junior Motorsports camp is just not having a great year. They are the Legacy Motor Club, well, the worse than Legacy Motor Club because they're at least vying for wins until they get knocked out. But they have not had a great year this year. It has been rough for them. Uh,
So,
it's just tough out there for pimps.
so for anybody who doesn't know, Xfinity changed the rules coming into this year to where they took a lot of the skew out of the cars, and that's affected some teams, obviously. And I think the biggest name that it's affected right now is Junior Motorsports. They went from winning 10, 15 races last year to they've only got one win with Allgaier. The speed seems to be decent, but we're not seeing these guys, all four of them competing for wins. We'll have points of the race that we have these guys contending for a win, but not all four. And Brandon Jones seems like he's been the worst luck so far this year, Junior Motorsports.
Yeah, I 100% agree. And, I was thinking about something yesterday, and Noah, why has he not ran an Xfinity car this year as one of the bonus cars? Ty Gibbs has done it, but yet Noah's not. Like, as bad as his year has been, why is Noah not trying to run off a one-off with Junior Motorsports, who has that extra car? Or even with, going to Toyota, maybe he can get in with Joe Gibbs Racing and try to go ahead and, be in a car for them for a race. At least give him a highlight to where he feels competitive again to at least get the morale back. Because I feel like by now that morale has to be getting hit.
I fully understand what you're saying. And, winning cures everything. Running good cures a lot, to build that motivation or momentum. However, being that Noah drives for Legacy and Legacy's in a lame duck year, you're not going to see Chevrolet reach out and give Noah an Xfinity ride, because what benefit does that give Chevrolet? At the same time, they're not going to want Noah to gather any more information that he can that can hurt the Chevy program for next year, whether it be an Xfinity. And you're not going to be able to get him in a Toyota because he's got contractual obligations to Chevrolet right now. Until that is up, we heard rumors that, Legacy might switch halfway through the year. You can think that all you want. It's not possible given, a lot of the contracts that they have with certain sponsors and partners and everything. Is Menards going to want to sponsor a Chevrolet? Yes, because they moved over with Brandon Jones. But there would be other sponsors that would be like, I really don't want to sponsor a Toyota, or I don't want to sponsor a Chevy, or I don't want to sponsor a Ford. So I don't think you ever see in the middle of a year, a team switch manufacturers or a driver jump manufacturers. That it isn't, manufacturing aligned. I should add that little point.
I don't know. I think that's bullshit. Honestly, that doesn't it doesn't really make sense for the fact that it's an Xfinity car. What are they going to learn? What is he going to learn about Toyota or Chevy? And
they could learn a lot.
The car's too different. If it was,
I'm not talking about carrying over if he drives a Toyota Xfinity car, what's Chevrolet going to learn from that for the Cup program? Nothing. But Toyota it's not going to go either way when you're talking about a single program. So if Noah runs an Xfinity car for Toyota, then if Noah runs a Chevrolet this year and he goes to Toyota next year, he could be like, hey, that one Xfinity race I ran last year for Chevrolet, this is what they were doing. This is the
it doesn't make any sense because he can run that car and it's so minute, the stuff he's going to learn from an Xfinity car. Like there's not much there, especially if it's a Junior Motorsports. He's already knows everything about Junior Motorsports except for the changes.
Yes, but things inside race teams change weekly. So whatever worked last year certainly is not working this year. So whatever Noah had from experience or knew what Junior Motorsports was doing last year, that does not relay over to this year. And so yes, it's a double-edged sword, it's catch-22. And I agree with your point. Like, how does that make a difference? But there could be some insider secrets that just they're not going to want to get out.
We'll see. But I really want to touch on Board Guy TikTok over on TikTok. Said, why did LMC go to Toyota? It makes no sense. Trucker Tony already kind of commented on a little bit. Chevy is not giving LMC any support. There's no sim time. There's a lot of things that whenever you're one of those top three. Like you look at Hendrick Motorsports, you look at RCR, you look at
Trackhouse.
all the top tier teams that are out there, even Trackhouse. They're getting a lot of funding, but they're also getting a lot of sim times. Even whether it's Ford, Toyota, or Chevy, there's a lot of sim time going into it. And then on top of that, Toyota needs the extra cars. They don't have enough to be, competitive week in, week out as they could be. Now, are they still competitive? Yeah. I mean, Martin Truex just dominated and won this. Hamlin does a great job. But how long can they sustain it? And can they sustain that better and go for more wins with a bigger team? That's what they're going for.
Yeah, that's two more cars, two more Toyota cars on the track. That's two more Toyota data points. There two more cars under a manufacturer umbrella doesn't hurt anything. It only makes the entire program better. So I have felt like for ever since LMC made the announcement that they're going to Toyota, I thought it was a win-win for both camps.
Yeah,
and I'm still on board with it.
My big thing was, can they put the money behind it? Obviously, we can't tell till next year. I hope they can, because I really want LMC to succeed. I mean, Jimmy Johnson, Noah Gragson, both those are names that I've always been fans of for Jimmy. And then Noah, obviously we followed him from Xfinity into Cup Series, or at least I am, and really want to see that succeed. But we'll see. We'll see what we get there. Let's move a little bit into the Xfinity race itself. Let's go for a little recap there. Obviously, you already talked about John Hunter wins the race, but how do you feel about the racing action itself?
I thought it was pretty decent. I don't think it was the best racing in the world, but we've seen that restarts from prior years. Restarts at Loudon is it's a get everything that you can in that short amount of time. So there's a lot of aggressive racing happening, and we saw it. We saw guys playing games on restarts. Sure enough, they played a big game on restart in the middle of the second stage, stacked up like 10, 15 cars. We had some big names caught up in it. Justin Allgaier was one of them. So I think we had some pretty decent racing, but as a whole, New Hampshire isn't my favorite track.
No, ever since it went down to one date, it's better, but I'm not a huge fan of it. It's just not something I'm into, I guess. As far as Xfinity, unfortunately, I had to work all weekend. I've been working for the last, I don't know, ever since we got back from Atlanta. It's been insane for me, but I got to catch enough of it to think that, hey, it's going to be good. I see you, Phil. I'll get to your comment in just a second from TikTok, but yeah, I don't know. It's not one of the tracks where I'm like, hey, I really want to go see this. I'm okay with it. It is very comparative to Phoenix, is what they say, and we'll see. I mean, obviously,
it's a technical racetrack, and it requires a lot of mechanical grip to be had. It's an aero. Every racetrack nowadays is aero related. But when it comes to New Hampshire, it's not as aero dependent as it is mechanical dependent. And so we see good racing, but the problem with it is that, one team can hit the setup and dominate, which they did. And really it was one whole team, as in Joe Gibbs Racing. They dominated the Xfinity race. They dominated the Cup race.
Yeah. I mean, they came out to win, and they did just that. They did.
And New Hampshire for years has been a Toyota racetrack. So, calling a Toyota to win either an Xfinity or a Cup race at New Hampshire, that's going for the low hanging fruit.
Yeah. So I want to ask your opinion on the whole Allgaier car, the pit situation, and then also there were so many troubled pit stops. It felt like during that Xfinity race. I did catch that. I mean, Josh Berry ended up pitting so close to the wall. Sam Mayer ended up pitting too close to the wall. There was a bunch of different ones, but it seemed to be a lot worse this time than I remember it before. Do you think it's the setup of pit lane, or do you just think there's some issues there with the pit stalls being so close together or something?
I think obviously it's not really talked about how difficult that pit lane is. Now, getting on pit road seems like it could be a little bit of a challenge there. However, I would say that we did see some situations in the Xfinity race of guys sliding through their pits and everything. Whether that falls on, the pit crew's not preparing their pit stall better, putting some tacky stuff down, whether it's Coca-Cola or anything like that, can make that concrete pit stall more grippy. Maybe it's, like I said, maybe it's preparation. Tony says it right there. When drivers change their brake bias, it can really, if say Allgaier didn't, put too much front brake in it or didn't put enough rear brake into it. If they don't have enough rear brake into it, then they're obviously just going to lock it up and go through a pit stall.
Yeah,
That's why every time you see a car coming to pit road and stopping in their pit stall, the rear tires are locked. So,
yeah. Well, hopefully, obviously this is New Hampshire's one time of the year, so we're not going to see if they do better next time until we go to next year. But we shall see.
And I will say that there's races out there that deserve 2 races. There's races out there that deserve 1 race a year. I always felt like New Hampshire deserved just 1 race, even though that's kind of in a market that you think they should get to. But I think that the racing action at New Hampshire has been right now with 1 race a year, 300 laps. I think that's the perfect formula, what we're seeing. Same thing with Pocono this weekend.
Yeah. I do want to touch on, Tony definitely said even Rick Ware stepping it up this year. The biggest thing is there's not a Ware racing the car. That's the best thing for Rick Ware Racing. They're not trying to stay in the back the entire time. I mean, JJ did a phenomenal job. I think 2 top 10s this year so far.
Where did Newman finish? Because when I saw Newman was on the entry list for this last weekend at New Hampshire, I was like, oh boy, that's a good track for Newman.
Hey, Tony, you volunteered every time it rains, so that means for Charlotte Roval, please don't volunteer. That's our last race of the year, and I'm tired of getting rained out.
Yeah, just come hang out on the bus with us.
Yeah, just come to the bus. You can get on top. We got plenty of bush lattes.
Race.
The Kanga cooler has got plenty of bush lattes for you, sir. I think Chase is going to be out of the playoffs. Yeah, so we'll talk on that now, I guess, a little bit. So we've had a bunch of people kind of comment on that. I think Chase misses the playoffs here.
If you follow our Instagram, you'll see that I don't think he's going to make the playoffs.
Yeah. Yeah, we are pretty much both agreeing. And this is an fan, Chase fan here. Still kind of Chase fan. I don't hate Chase. It's just the personality is not there. I'm really into the personality of drivers. So Noah, I've moved on to Noah now with him being in the Cup Series. But, Chase, I don't think he's going to make it this year. I don't think he deserves to make it right now. I do agree. Tony said he's getting the Xfinity race to get, hoping to do better this weekend. He needs more seat time. It's a win-win, realistically, for him to get in an Xfinity car.
Yeah, so obviously there are less things that you'll learn from running an Xfinity car if you're a full-time Cup driver.
Yeah.
But because the cars are so drastically different nowadays.
Yeah.
But as far as your lines, just getting familiar with, braking points, getting your restarts down, all of that, the driver craft, that is what can be honed. Why does Kyle Larson run so many races throughout the week?
That's exactly what I was about to say. Larson shows running races is what keeps him on that edge. Kyle Busch, whenever he was running basically all 3 series, was winning races in Cup Series like it was nothing for that reason.
And you look at the weekend schedules now, how we have very limited practice. We have 15 minutes of practice for most races. And prior to that, during COVID and everything, we had no practice. These guys just went out on a formula for qualifying. That was their starting position, but there was no qualifying, no practice.
Yep.
Who hurt the most out of all that? Kyle Busch.
Kyle Busch. Yeah. So, and we'll
People
see
don't know even how great Noah is. Dude does anyone's job. Yeah.
Yeah, he's always fun.
That's another reason why we love Noah.
And he stays with his team too. Every single time that I've seen him leave a track, he's leaving with his team. You get the drivers that they deuce out. They get the car back there. See ya. I mean, one of them took a porta potty shit and then fist bumped Andy on his way out. I mean, it's just you never know what you're going to see at the races. But I mean, yeah, Noah has that. It's great, and he knows how to market. That's the greatest thing for Noah too. His marketing genius is just as good as his racing genius. Because you got to think, he took a positive spin to running at Chicago Road Course into turn 6 I don't know, 6 times. I mean, that was a win for Wendy's. The Baconator livery on that car. It's a win. He knows what to do.
Livery. But the car is different now. They can only practice the track itself. It actually hurts them line-wise. Yeah, there's obviously the brakes are much bigger on the next-gen cars. 5-speed versus 4-speed, sequential versus H pattern. We saw screw up Daniel Suarez at Sonoma. So there's things that can help with. There's things that won't help with. But a next-gen Cup car is drastically different than a Wings World of Outlaw car. And what's Kyle Larson doing now?
Sprint cars all.
Look, yeah, I'm a Larson fan, but dude, he's got so much talent. That has a lot to do with it too.
He's one of the greatest racers of our time right now. There cannot be anybody saying that, hey, Larson is not current top 5 best racers, period. Not NASCAR, not Cup Series, racers, period.
It was like Jimmy Johnson, when Jimmy was, dominating and winning 7 championships, 5 of them in a row. There are a lot of people hated Jimmy because he was winning all the time. But whether you hated him or didn't hate him, I am thankful that I did not like him at the time. I am thankful, though, that I respected what he did, and I respect it even more. Like, you'll never see that again. So Same thing with Larson. Like, okay, he's going to rack a lot of wins up and potentially win a lot of championships, but, you can hate him, but respect him.
You got to.
Respect what you're seeing right now.
There's no way you can sit there and go, he's not great.
Yeah.
McDonald's. Of course you would say McDonald's.
Let's get back to the Chase thing real quick, though, too. So Chase is like 60 points out, and he, from what I can't remember, I don't think he got any stage points yesterday.
He didn't get anything. He was near the back end of the field almost all day. He ran terrible there yesterday.
He ended up finishing 12th, but no stage points. And Denny talked about it. He was like, if you guys don't think that Chase Elliott's going to make the playoffs, then don't think that way, because he's got a clear, easy path to get in. He was like, yeah, he can rack all these points up. There's so many opportunities for him to rack points up, which is true. But now we're down to 6 weeks. Just wasted one, didn't get no playoff points, didn't get no stage points.
And do you think NASCAR is going to pull a Jeff Gordon on this one and make sure he's in there?
Boy, there was a lot of discuss about that today in our little chat.
Yes.
I hope to God they don't. I personally don't think they will.
Ain't gonna make it. We'll see. I don't know. With his name, just his name brings so many viewers. I feel like something has to happen. I mean, they blamed the early part of the year when he was gone and then came back, and all of a sudden the viewership was back. Oh, it's because Chase Elliott came back. I don't know how much that is.
Is it because though that so if Chase does get in the playoffs, and it's not because NASCAR gave him a 17th position, is it because the script gets changed halfway through a race? Maybe there's rain on the way.
I don't know. I feel like
maybe there's rain on the way and Chase is leading and NASCAR's like, oh, just throw the red flag. Oh, race is over. We can't drive the track.
And there's someone on TikTok saying road course coming up. Don't panic. He's got a good road course coming up. However, he's not running.
He's not
great. Like he's doing
he's
good.
Not running fast.
Top 10, but I haven't seen anything where I'm like, he's still the road. Monday Martin, where he's the road king still. I mean, even Buescher is up there vying for wins. McDowell's doing good. There's so many names out there. I saw Tony say earlier, McDowell's hunting for a win, especially this weekend. I mean, he's doing great this year. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, the
better spacer.
Monday Martin. That is very true. We'll talk about that in a minute. With the Gen 6 race car, Chase Elliott made a name for road courses. But I don't think Chase has won a road course race in the next gen car, has he?
Roval.
No.
He won the Roval?
No, he didn't.
The
year Gen 6 car.
Oh wait.
He didn't win the Roval last year?
Yeah, no, that was still Gen 6. That's right.
That's my point.
I didn't even think about that. Yeah, I don't think he has. Huh. What do you think about that? Because you got
So, with the cars being so close, new gearbox, I don't think Chase Elliott has a clear shot advantage at road courses anymore. Guys have gotten better in the still don't panic. Yeah, anything can happen, and
we'll see. It's
he can
anyone's
win this
game.
weekend
He
at Pocono.
he's consistent. That's the thing for him. He's very consistent. This is the first time I think he's finished outside of the top 10 in at least since he's been back. I think, other than any crash outs, which he hasn't had, I don't think since then.
Yeah, I
But
mean he's made points up. He's really closed that gap in.
Top 10s has been a big thing for him. Top 5s has been a big thing for him. But you know, we'll see.
There has been Chicago street course. He finished third, I think it was, but he wrecked in practice and qualifying.
Yep.
He wrecked in the race, and the only reason he finished third was because the gift that NASCAR gave by shortening the race in the middle of the race and gave 10 plus cars that were running in the back and were just pitting every opportunity they could.
Yeah.
Gave him the track position.
Yep.
So
that's the only reason that entire piece.
So I'm gonna put an asterisk next to that race as far as his results from it.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, there's a lot of time. Enough.
I mean, Chase finished fourth at Nashville. Nova, stop. He heard me.
Goodness gracious. Mason's in there yelling.
Nova, stop it. I was gonna look at Gateway, but obviously he was suspended for that. Wrecked at Charlotte. I remember that.
Yep.
Where did he finish at Darlington?
Darlington, top 10, I think, right?
Third.
Yeah,
so when he hasn't been wrecking or whatever, he's been piecing together top 5s.
Yeah, he's a good racer. We'll see what happens from it.
But, hey, there's 6 weeks left. He can get
69.
in.
Always answer 69.
She's 69, 71. All right. Off Chase, on to the next. Let's talk about
nobody was beating. SVG took off, and that was all he could do. I mean, the dude was killing it. SVG, and now we do have another Australian coming over to race. Is he coming for Watkins, or which one is he coming for? I can't remember now. I know he's second place in points for the Aussies in the Supercars.
Indy, motherfucker.
Is it Indy? Indy's what he's coming for. I couldn't remember which one it was. I'm not very excited for Indy road course anyway, because we should be at the Brickyard.
We are at the Brickyard.
The actual.
We are the actual Brickyard.
Let's run the good old fashions.
What are you talking about? All right, Cup race.
Broke a cord. I'm sad now. Cup race. So I didn't get to see but bits and pieces. I had to work all weekend long. So luckily Monday pushed it, and I got to catch a piece of it because I got to get out of work a little early that day. But I only got to see bits and pieces. They're doing oval next year. They got to do oval next year. They've been talking about it a lot with the scheduling, so I think it is going to happen.
Yeah, it's definitely happening.
So I'm excited
for it. There's way too much. There's way too much support for it and a lot of hatred right now for the road course. I don't see it.
Mm-hmm. And then Chicago.
And Tony also said, Tony talking about the Australian coming over for RCR. Don't forget, 2311's got the Japanese driver.
Yeah.
The 67 car.
And I think he's going to do good because that car is fast. Every time, I mean, obviously Travis Pastrana was vying at Daytona. I mean, it's a good car. It is not a throwaway car by any stretch of the imagination. So I think it's going to be some great racing. I hope something comes up. Yeah, I am not trying to say
Yamaha Kawasaki.
Suzuki. Toshiba. Was that Scary Movie or Insidious? Make fun. Travis was a beast in it. Travis was awesome. That man, I would love to meet him in person. I hear he is probably one of the greatest people you can ever meet, and he's down to earth, really chill. So, the fact that, 2311 is going out and reaching and grabbing these great drivers, even for the Japanese guy that's coming over, he is he's top of his class apparently over there. So, I mean, they're picking big names. They're shooting for stars. Oh, just rub it in, Tony. Why don't you? Just rub it in. No one cares anymore. look at the stands. You can't really say the stands. NASCAR is catering to the TV audience more than he's doing anything else. And then the past 4 races have been impacted by weather in some fashion or another, to where people don't show up if they think they're going to drive hours to a track and it be canceled or moved. They're just not going to chance it. We are talking Cup.
So, Cup
I'm
race.
getting laugh out loud. Said LOL. Pits, garage, full 2, the cost a lot. All right. What else you got? What else you want for Cup? You want to talk about Cup? I've been waiting for you to talk about Cup. Come on, Cup.
I want to talk
Cup.
about Cup race this weekend.
Oh, the one coming up?
The New Hampshire race. We haven't talked about anything that's happened in the New Hampshire race.
We talked about it.
What did we talk about?
I said I missed most of it because I had to sit there and work, but it was a great race dominated by. Why is it showing up on both now? Dominated by Toyotas. We talked about Toyota dominating MTJ, dominating 3 or 4 times during this. Come on, man, keep up with the times.
Okay, yeah, you're right. So, I guess we'll get to Pocono picks.
Pocono picks. Okay, we can hit Pocono. Who you got?
We have trucks racing this weekend too.
Believe we have everybody. Let's see. Pocono. Yep, trucks. Yep, all 3. Oof.
Zane Smith.
I'm gonna go Eckes for trucks. I'll start it off. I'm gonna go Eckes for trucks. I think he's put together a pretty great year so far, and I think he can pull away with it.
All right. Xfinity.
Xfinity. John Hunter's on a tear, but I think Austin Hill comes back in and wins this one. Tricky triangle. See what Tony says. He's pretty good at Xfinity picks. You got Zane Smith winning the trucks. I would love Zane to win it, but
You don't want to pick Ty Dillon?
no, absolutely not. That dude ain't won. When was the last time Ty Dillon won a race? I asked this in our group chat. When was the last time Ty Dillon won a race? I mean, the dude lost to his brother in the sperm race. The dude ain't won a race in years.
I don't think he's won a race in Xfinity at all.
I don't know what the last race the dude won. I don't know if he races outside, if he does modified sprints or anything like that, but I don't know. That's another dude that needs to race in a different thing and try to win somewhere.
I think I'm gonna go with. Chandler Smith.
Not a bad pick. He was
He's
very
had-
close to a couple times this year.
He was competing for the win right towards the end of this last weekend's race.
Yeah.
And then Cup.
You know what? I'm gonna pick this one from Tony. Tony, I got you here. McDowell.
That's not a bad pick. I mean,
He's hungry. He finished, I think, 8th last year, top 10.
it's a solid points pick. It's not a winning pick.
I don't know. We'll see. He could get lucky. It's a tricky triangle. Never know.
I'm kind of feeling Kevin Harvick.
Okay. I could see it. I know Hamlin was a wrong.
Kind of feeling Kevin Harvick or Bad Brad.
He had to give the trophy up. Bad Brad. Brad, who we talked about earlier, definitely a great pick. He did great at New Hampshire. There was a time where we were like, this dude could win it. We talked about that earlier as well. Yeah, I mean, Hamlin, obviously, this is kind of where he could definitely buy into it. He's going to be in my fantasy picks, I can tell you that. But we'll see. Harvick, okay. I think Harvick gets a win shortly. I think he's got a win coming soon. Not a road course, but coming soon.
We want to see Harvick win so bad in this last year.
Got to.
And I think
flag.
I think we're seeing the real possibility about this is the last year Martin Truex is going to run too.
He is due. I said that in the group chat. Do you think he stays another year if he wins a championship, or does he go out on top?
He said it. He said it this weekend. He talked
did
about
he? I
it.
didn't hear it.
Press asked him about it, and he said he's not saying he's retiring, but he basically alluded to that. I would love to be able to win a championship and walk away. So
That'd be great for him. All he had to do was break up with his girlfriend. Who would have known? He'd done that a couple of years ago. Where would we be sitting right now?
probably wouldn't have gone winless last year. That's for sure.
It's for darn sure. We know who was weighing down that relationship. But all right, well that's picks, that's coverage, that's recaps, that's everything. So thank y'all for joining. Got a couple people still over on the TikTok side. Thank y'all so much. Really appreciate it. Got a couple people on the YouTube side, Facebook side. Thank y'all so much. Make sure y'all hit that like, subscribes, follows, all the different buttons. Hit it all. Check out our Instagram. Check out all the different social medias. I know we've been lacking lately. Not much on Instagram, not much on TikTok. Unfortunately, been very, very busy. Very, very busy. So we'll see. Hey guys, huge fans of the podcast. Just joined in. Who do you have winning the championship? Right now, you're looking at MTJ. You're looking at William Byron. Kyle Busch is probably going to be in there. And then Larson's, I feel like, the fourth pick in there. Busch might not make it. We'll see. But I think overall, I'm still picking Byron.
Byron's a safe lock at this point. He's racked up the playoff points, but so is Martin. So I think we've got two guys with the easy path to easy, in quotations, path to the Final Four.
Well, thank you for the pretty faces, Tony. We appreciate it. But I think that about wraps us up. What's up, Carabeth?
Thanks, Mason. Appreciate it.
All right, guys. Well, that's all we got. Make sure, again, hit all the likes, hit all the follows. If you want to get a Kanga cooler, make sure you do it with our link. You can use the code when you go there, kanga.com. It's the coolers. You don't need any ice, just right and ready to go. And we appreciate y'all, but that's all we got. So until next time, see you.
Bye, everybody.